Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. This is another tank review. This is on the new Tier 9 Soviet medium tank, the Object 283. Now, this is not a premium tank. It's a considered a reward tank, so you can move crews in out, but it doesn't have the credit earning potential of the premium tanks. Compared to the Shah Mil 75, that's a premium Tier 9. The other benefit of being at premium at Tier 9 is you can earn bonds with that tank, but this one, yeah, can earn any credits. Anyway, how do you get this tank? First, okay, right here you see the gift terminal, so let's have a quick look at that. Let's jump in here. So when you start the game, with the holiday ops, you get 3 tokens. Now, you can get more tokens by reaching level 10 in the decorations and completing missions for Mila and Arnie. So you've got to complete all of their assignments to get additional tokens. Oh, you don't get the tokens from completing them, but you then qualify to use the extra resources you've got to purchase tokens and then spend them at the gift terminal. Now, you're not guaranteed to get a 283. They will drop at a rate of 11%, but not just a permanent one. You can also, you might just get it for rent. I think you get 5 games out of it. So you've got a chance to get it permanently, you've got a chance to get it for rent, but the other things you get with a higher rate of drop, free XP, demounting kids credits, personal reserves, garage slots, repair kits, first aid kits, that sort of thing. So, and some training booklets, etc. So they're the sort of the minor things that you get. But yeah, the Object 283 is the main reward that you get from using this gift terminal. Anyway, good luck with that. But let's have a look at the tank now. So, interesting looking tank. It's got a rear mounted turret, so similar to the Object 432. This is the 4302. But it's a little bit different to that. So let's have a look at the characteristics. So first of all, average damage 360, which is relatively low for its tier, particularly in the medium tanks. Or mediums are doing 400 plus. Standard round is 226 pen, and it's got a decent rate of fire, and you can see the DPM. Well, okay, we've got bond rammers and the rest, and vents, as well as food and crew with brothers in arms, etc. So that's sort of peaking. Its standard DPM would be below 2800, but that's pretty decent for its tier anyway. Dispersion also not too bad, 0.33. Gun handling is actually pretty good. Aiming time 2.17. 6 degrees gun depression, that's the main sort of issue with it, but again, that's because the turret is mounted at the rear, so you can't depress the gun quite as much because of the frontal structure of the tank. Gun traverse is 46 degrees per second, which is not shabby, but it's not fantastic. And you've got loading time here with all the benefits of just over 7 seconds, so a little bit slow, and particularly for the alpha. But yeah, again, you can get it up to that just over 3000 DPM, which is not too bad. 1600 hit points is pretty reasonable. Frontal hull armor 190 and turret frontal 250. Decent side armor for the turret 150. So you're going to bounce a few shots as well with this turret, which is pretty handy. What else can we tell you? Engine power 680, but it's only a 38-ton tank, so it is definitely a medium class tank. So specific power 17 is sort of middle of the pack. Top speed gets to 50 though, which is pretty decent, and reverse speed 18, which is just under what you might want to have for reversing out of spots. And hull traverse is 61 degrees per second, which is also pretty snappy. Concealment as a medium crew with camo skills 33, that's pretty average for a medium tank, so nothing out of the ordinary there. And on the move 25, which is also pretty decent. View range here, now we are not maximizing view range with this particular config, so we're not getting the benefits of optics, but 445 sort of average view range for a medium tank. Now let's have a look at the other round. So we saw the standard round is standard pen 226 with shell velocity of 950, and have a look at the premium round, which is a heat round, which brings you up to 300 penetration, which is pretty fantastic, or not fantastic, but you know, good for its tier. And then shell velocity drops to 850 because it's a heat round. So, but you don't lose penetration over distance, which is the key characteristic of the heat rounds. And let's have a quick look at HE. Brings the average damage up to in the 400, 500 range, but pen is only 50, which is very average. So that's a sort of a quick summary of the characteristics of the tank. We're going to have a look at a bit of gameplay, but certainly think that this would be a pretty handy tank to have in your repertoire, particularly with the rearward mounted turret. One of the benefits of this is you can side scrape a corner by putting the front of the tank here on the corner. Let's say the wall is on this side, and you can just back up a little bit until your gun is exposed, and you're not exposing anywhere near as much as if the turret was more frontal mounted. So that's probably the key, you know, benefit of a medium tank or any tank with a rear mounted turret, is that ability to side scrape in a sort of more effective manner than a more forward mounted turret. In terms of crew, we've got a standard 4-man crew, so you can swap your key medium tank crews in and out. So your Object 140 crews, your 907 crews, that sort of thing, will all fit right in without any dramas. Yeah, I think that's probably enough said about the tank. Let's go and have a look at some gameplay. Hopefully this will show some of the strengths and weaknesses of the tank, and then we'll give a quick summary at the end. But as you're not able to buy this tank, it's really just a matter of luck getting it through these tokens. Anyway, best of luck, and let's go and have a look at that gameplay. Alright, so this battle's on the Cliff map, and it's a game on the European server. I've got a player called KK2310, and if I was Jingles I'd call him Dave, but we'll just call him KK. Alright, there you can see he's got a bit of festive camo on there, but yeah, must have had a bit of luck. So, but you can't tell whether this is a rental version or the permanent one, because there's no real difference between the tanks. It's just based on ownership. Anyway, so it's come to this spot, which is a pretty good spot to catch tanks crossing who are trying to go up to the through the donut. And he's managed to smack the T-44 there. And you see the gun handling is not too bad. He managed to put both shots into that T-44. The first shot obviously was hitting directly towards the Object 283, but he crossed over, and now he's put another shot into him. So yeah, being able to shoot on the move, even though you can see the gun bloom, it's not too shabby. Yeah, we've got another tank crossing, Super Pershing. I should say he is top tier in this game. That's tier 9. It's a tier 8, tier 9 battle. We've got a few 283s in this match, so I would suggest, yeah, most of them are rentals. I wouldn't be necessarily getting permanent ones at this rate, but again, can't really make too many assumptions about that. Anyway, it doesn't really change the way you can play or handle it. And you can see he's got a mixed ammo load as well, and he is firing his standard rounds at this point. He's also bouncing rounds. Here we go. This is an example of the side scraping potential. You can just see from that shot, look back at his tank, just to make sure that his front plate is covered by the rock, and they're going to find it very hard to penetrate. They might track him, but he's just looking at that bush up there, which potentially is spotting him, and they're probably looking at this bush saying, oh, we're being spotted by this side, but neither can see each other. But once they fire, here we go, T28 coming into position, so he's just switched to his premium rounds doing that, and didn't get spotted there, unless the T44, he'll probably go through the roof of that, which he does, and gets the kill. So, third minute of the game's got 1600, and that's a fair bit of sitting still. That T28's gone to cover, so not really an opportunity. So just moving back in this position, perhaps they're trying to change the angles or just get to a point where he can do more damage. We notice the leather that's been spotted there. Can he get a shot into him? Well, he's probably behind a bit of a rock. Oh no, there he is. Okay, so he's actually out in the open. But now he's double bush, so he shouldn't be spotted. Got his premium rounds loaded still, so getting 300 pen with his heat rounds. And he should be going through the front of this lever. Well, that one, don't know, didn't get a message from that, so did it hit or not? Now, you can see the recoil is smaller than the tank, just. And with the lever deciding, okay, better to get into cover. Now that he's got 45 hit points left. And he just line him up again and gets the kill there. Switches back to his standard rounds now, so now that hard target's got out of the way. Alright, now Progetto 46, so now here, gun depression 6 degrees across the front, but what he's doing is backing up here and actually reducing the amount of gun depression he needs, because he's got a bit of a slope here to work with, so clever thinking. But also being able to shoot over your sides. Now, I haven't checked what the gun depression is over the sides, but I can guarantee you it's better than shooting over the front. So now here we go, shooting up at a target on the top. It's got a ELC even 90, and again, that's the gun handling actually working pretty well. Being able to shoot not so much when the tank is on the move, but while your turret is moving, and you're getting wind from that. And they're just having a bit of battle with 1B. He's managed to put a damaging shot in, which I think might be the first damage he's actually taken. And you get the side shot on this guy to T50. Yes, he will. Comes back down to take a shot and going sideways, just showing the rear of his tank, no problem, or the side of his tank. Should be able to put another shot in. Unfortunately, that just hit the rear end of the tank, I would say. But again, he's got this little gun depression in the ground here that he's working, just to give him more of a hold down position, and just backing up on the slope to basically take away the need to depress his gun too much. So that T50 really is trapped in that position at the moment. His team having a bit of an advantage now, but KK's up to 3.5k. Oh, here comes the Skoda again. Snaps another shot into him, and the Skoda not getting the chance to shoot back really. And here he's reloaded already, so 7-second interval working out pretty well. So again, the main issues, I guess, that you want to see that a player can actually take advantage of a tank with some of these sort of poor qualities, and the main thing being the gun depression of 6 degrees is being able to use the terrain to your advantage, which this KK is doing. But other than that, I don't think we're seeing too many weaknesses with the tank. It's obviously it's a medium tank, so armor's not always going to stand up, but you can see he hasn't taken a lot of damage, and he's managed to pick up 860 of armor benefit. And then you get that shot, shooting at fairly long range there. That Shrek TVP is sort of at the edge of his view range, and so that's good shooting over long distance there as well. And he's got a few more targets he can take advantage of at that sort of distance. So the SU-130PM quite a fair bit closer, but this is now, he's already up to 4.5k of damage. So the enemy's been reduced to 2 TDs and the light tank on top of the hill. And there is one arty at the back there. Alright, there's one of the TDs right below him, so there's just that SU-130PM. Making a fairly dangerous move here, coming down off the hill, and didn't take any damage there, which is pretty good. So the suspension also then showing that it's pretty robust. Alright, it's also picked up a fair bit of assisted damage there, but that's the end of the game. All the remaining tanks have been taken out. We're going to look at the results and see what profit it might have made. Alright, that was a pretty nice game there by KK. He's ended up with just under 5k of damage, and that's given the high caliber award, which is always pretty good for a medium tank. Another 2.7k of assisted damage there, so that's about 7.7k of combined damage. So yeah, great result there. So he's earned a Ace Tanker Mastery badge. So from a team score perspective, 1395, yeah, pretty good, spot on for Ace Tanker level. I think I've seen scores as low into the mid 1200s, so he's just above the Ace Tanker level. But yeah, it's top damage there as well as top experience. Now, that doesn't mean that the 283 was the best tank there by itself, and obviously he's the good player. So you can see the other 283s there, one doing 1100, but died earlier. And here we go, another one only doing 982 or 962, so getting 2 or 3 shots in there. And on the enemy team, did they have any 283s? No, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, so basically, yeah, being a good player obviously will get you better results, but we don't know the exact circumstances that those 283s didn't play well. It could have been, yeah, exactly where they were on the map, but certainly KK took most advantage of it. All right, so he's ended up firing 24 shots, so that's, you know, the pretty good shot rate. As we said, 7 seconds is not too bad. It's not the best for medium tank, but it's certainly not the slowest. 18 hits sort of belies what we're thinking, that had good gun handling, but no, I think all together that certainly sort of paid off shooting on the move, and 15 pens, so he did end up having to use a bit of different ammunition. But now this is holiday ops again, so but you can see that the standard income there, 57k, augmented by the personal reserves bonus that he was running, plus the mission payouts for the holiday ops, has given a pretty good earning potential. But he's only spent 8k on repairs, which didn't get a lot of damage, and only 29k on ammunition, so actually pretty good, and he's ended up with a decent profit. And if you take away just the holiday ops and the personal reserves running, so you're talking about 86k off that, he's still making a decent profit there. So anyway, pretty good result there for KK, but again, from a tank perspective, if we look at the overall capability of it, if you manage to pick that up in the gift terminal and without spending any money, I think you'd be pretty happy. So it's not overly powered at all. We can see there from the other Object 283 results, but yeah, I think this is not a bad addition to the game from what I can see. Anyway, hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I'd like you to consider doing that. I have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.